I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another exploration, and I'm out on another farm. It's so exciting. I'm up in Slindon, or down in Slindon, or over in Slindon, which is in West Sussex, just up from, where are you up from? Sort of Bognor way, in between Chichester and Arundel, near Arundel, that'll do. And today, I'm very excited because I'm here with Paul and Madeline Crawley, and they very much agreed to show me around their mixed farm here in West Sussex. So hello Paul.
Hello there.
Hello Madeline.
Hello there.
And we're all standing slightly apart because of obviously the restrictions in current times. But Paul, we're standing, this is what really excites me, is we're standing in this very beautiful species rich pasture land. This is part of your stewardship on the farm.
That's right, yeah. This is part of arable reversion land, which we converted back to grassland 7 years ago. And we sort of try to put in pasture that encourages pollinators, but is also good for the sheep and grazing and harvesting as well, but also protects the soil and things like that, yeah.
And it's lovely because there's butterflies and there's insects and all of that, which is all good for nature. Madeline, 7 years here on this farm, mixed farming. Yes. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to find out, because I went recently to see Lee Dallon, who he does have some cattle, but I think is mainly agricultural, but mixed farming. So what do you have?
So we've got sheep. So we've got about 500 sheep, about 90 suckler cows and followers, and then we have about 240 acres that we put into barley, which goes for malting.
Right.
So apart from this block that you can see now, the rest of the farm all is rotated. So we grow different things at different times in different years, as it were, as a kind of rotation pattern that we follow, and that allows us to put nitrogen naturally back into the soil.
Because you're organic, aren't you?
Because we're organic,
yeah.
Yes. So we don't use artificial fertilisers and that sort of thing. So we rely on being able to use the clovers and lays a bit like this that will lock up the nitrogen and put it back into the soil, and also use the muck from the cattle and the sheep.
So it's very much traditional, old-fashioned farming, sort of pre-Second World War.
Well, traditional farming, hopefully with a modern-day twist on it. You
right.
See, our understanding's moved on a little bit more since then. So,
well, I mean, I've been reading about all this traditional farming, but it, from the authors that I've been reading, it's like saying we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That there was some very good philosophy and techniques and stuff that they used to do in the old days. So. Yeah, so don't be ashamed that it's... well, because I know we're in 2020 and everything's progressive.
Well, that's why we like to call ourselves progressive farmers, yes. But I think you're right, there are elements that we perhaps did and went out with different fashions. There's the fashions, aren't there, and everything. And I think there definitely are things that we've perhaps honed in on and made better, but that perhaps they were doing to a lesser extent or a smaller extent before, yeah.
Now, I can't help hearing your magnificent sheep in the background there, and they're looking really lovely and slightly inquisitive as well. What type of sheep are they?
We've got a mixture of the white sheep are Clins, and then the black sheep are a Zwarble, which are a Dutch sheep. So we've kind of got a mix. When we came here, obviously not really knowing much about sheep, we had to work out what breed might suit us best. So we've a bit of experimentation there. My wife, she wanted the Zwarbles, so we've kind of ended up with a few of those, a few Clins. I'm not sure we've got it right yet, but yeah, that's where we are really. And then we put them to a Charolais tup to produce a sort of a meat lamb. Yeah.
Oh wow! So if I turn round your farm, the 660 acres,
that's
is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
It sort of sweeps down here right up to the Slindon Folly, which is what you farm, and it's sort of almost as far as the eye can see.
It's actually it's pretty much all the fields that you can see from here. Yes,
How beautiful. So we're going to have a little shufty round and look at some more of your farm and talk more about it.
Okay.
Fantastic. So Paul, you've driven me very speedily across on your wonderful buggies.
Indeed, farm safari, I think.
Farm safari. We have a few flies above our heads.
Indeed.
And I guess that may be indicative because we have this rather impressive herd of cows. Cattle. Are they?
Cattle, yes.
Heifers, aren't they? Heifers and bulls?
Well, there's a mixture of cows. I don't think there's any heifers in this group.
Right.
Cows and there's a bull gladiator. That's right, yeah.
Right.
One of our bulls gladiator.
People know I am slightly wary of bovines, in as much as I know they're not going to eat me, but I always think they might just, friendlily nudge me to the ground. But
I think you're okay. They're fairly placid cattle, really. So yeah,
fantastic.
You're okay.
So what we should say is something about your tenancy here, because you're tenant farmers.
We are indeed, yeah.
And your landlords are the National Trust.
That's right, yeah. We took the farm on 7 years ago. We secured the tenancy here, and 2013 I think it was. Yeah, we took it.
You've been here 7 years.
Indeed, yes. And we're first time farmers effectively, my wife and I. And so we're finding our way, making a few mistakes, obviously. But
as you do.
And we did, we came here with this sort of vision to try and do it as environmentally friendly as possible. And so organic farming is the way we've chosen to do that.
Yes.
We've just sort of had to muddle our way along, and we didn't necessarily come here as experts, and every farm is different. So.
Well, we're going to find out a bit about the cattle in a minute from Madeline, but one of the other things that you're doing, which is very impressive, I think, is putting back hedges.
That's right, yeah. So since we took the farm on here, and sort of a change, it was an arable farm before, we've taken and we're just really either putting back hedges or putting in new hedges. And I think at the moment we did total it up. It's about 3,000 metres, 3 kilometres of hedge that we've put in since we've been here.
Right.
There's some behind us and some over there, and we saw some that we just planted just this last year.
And they're a mixture of hawthorn and blackthorn.
A mix. Yeah, that's right, hornbeam. And so some of it's to provide wildlife corridors to sort of link bits of woodland up. Some places it's for field boundaries to prevent any on our boundaries to prevent any contamination from outside.
I think that's the interesting or important thing, is that being organic, you don't want another farm that isn't contaminating any of your land, crops, etc.
That's right. Yeah. We have to ensure that everything that we sell from this farm is organic, and there's no contamination risk. And I mean, that's one of the things we've only really been able to do this because obviously there are consumers out there who are prepared to buy organic food.
Yes, quite right too. Really.
So it's quite important to us. Yeah.
So Madeline, I gather you're a vet.
I am. That's right. Well, I graduated nearly 20 years ago now. Yes.
So that's a very useful skill to have on a farm, clearly, when you've got cattle.
Absolutely, yes, it is. I always maintain that's the only reason Paul married me, but we do. I do use it. We are registered with vets as well, and obviously I'm not in practice anymore, so it is helpful to have their input as well. And much more
but the first sign of anything.
Yes, and I'm able to do a bit more than the average farmer, which is just, it saves us a bit of money really. It's very useful. We work together and look at the stock.
So talking of your stock, which they look magnificent over there, and very happily, as we saw with the earlier grasses just grazing away organically, you rear them, you don't keep them to the end, then they go on to the, what do you call them these days, the slaughterhouse, the abattoir?
Yes.
I'm a bit nervous.
That's right. So we have a suckler herd of 90. They calve every April, and then we keep the calves with the cows really sort of anywhere between 9 and 11 months, and then we sell the calves at about a year old. And we sell them mainly to another organic farmer, and he carries on and he finishes them, and then they go off to their trip.
So as you explained just off camera, finishing them means sort of fattening them up for market.
Yes, absolutely. So fattening them, ready to be eaten. So we sell them at probably about half the weight they would be when they end their lives, and then they go off. So the chap that we sell them to, he does that bit. It's another year or so, and then he will sell them on to an abattoir who will, and the meat may well end up in supermarkets or butchers or farm shops.
Right. But because it's organic and because it started here, and the chain is on a similar scale, then I guess it's all really good quality meat.
Yeah, it's all good quality. It's another organic farmer, so we all have to follow those rules. We have inspections every year, and it does have to be quite stringent, and it has to be very traceable. And should something come back, they have to be able to prove that it is organic and it was organic all the way through its life. So yes,
this is really encouraging for me, because I'm sort of on a bit of a journey of trying to work out where you can buy healthy food. And a lot of the mass-produced stuff has its nutrients and minerals missing or degraded. But hearing your story here, it's like you can see if you're following the organic trail, then you're going to get a really good, healthy portion of meat at the end of it.
Oh, I think so, and it's definitely not exclusive. There are plenty of other farmers doing different things that aren't maybe registered organic, but I think with organic you are at least assured those organic inspection bodies have, we have to follow stringent rules. We're inspected that we are following those rules, and so you can rest assured that if it's organic, it has had those rules applied. And I think that they are. We try and work as much as we can with nature. We try and avoid any of the chemical inputs.
Yes, no, that's really good. That's really good. And they look very happy and jolly. Paul.
Richard.
Yes, we're in a field of barley. Is this spring barley?
It is. It's spring barley. Westminster is the variety. That's right. And it's generally grown on a normal year. It normally would go for malting, for organic malting, to make some lovely organic beer.
Oh, lovely.
Whether it's going to do that this year,
because I suppose because of the COVID and brewers are a bit behind.
Exactly right. The demand really, I think, is quite low at the moment, and so we've just got to see how that pans out over the year. I don't think people have not been drinking quite enough beer in lockdown, so.
No. Drink more.
Indeed. So we'll have to see. Obviously, if not, it may end up being used for animal feed. That's the flip side. But we will hope for the best. Yeah.
So now you're organic farmers. We've mentioned that, of course. So you can't go around putting in artificial or nitrogens and things into the soil artificially, as it were, and you can't go around spraying the crops. So how do you get the nutrients in for the barley, and how do you maintain them so that they look so luscious?
Well, it's a bit. I'd like to say there is a little bit of luck involved, to be fair, but we're trying to really work for the soil at the beginning. We've got in the rotation grass and legumes, cloves and things, so we're trying to build fertility all the time. The cattle and sheep are also a really important part of that as well, to help us build fertility. The animals will rotate their way around the entire farm throughout the year, so we're bringing fertility everywhere. We're trying to obviously grow a crop that's suitable to this ground as well. That's one of the other things we've found. Obviously, barley grows really well here. We're on alkaline, chalky soils, so it's very well suited to that. So we're not trying to sort of go against the grain as its nature and things. So that's helped. We do mechanical weeding, which is something obviously we have to do. I'd like to move away from that if we can, but just because of diesel and things like that. But using the right variety in the right field, really, yeah.
Well, Paul and Madeline and your lovely daughters here. Sorry, I didn't ask you your names. What are your names?
Delilah and Myrtle.
Delilah and Myrtle. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for letting me come round your farm and find out about organic farming, mixed farming. It's been really, really, really interesting. And good luck with everything you do.
Oh no, well thank you for coming and having a look around. It's been very enjoyable showing you around.
Well, it'd be great to come back later on in the season and see some more of the action.
Of course.
Because I know that the viewers would love it. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you very much. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, become a patron, support what I do, and I'll try and get around some more interesting places like this and meet some fascinating people. But until next time, take care and bye for now. Bye-bye.